Well, two women from here in Michigan played important roles in the historic Falcon 9 launch over the weekend.
Exciting stuff. Our Ryan Cummings spoke to them about why this was a project that they will never forget.
10, 9, 8.
History made Saturday in Florida as a private company became the first to launch people into space.
2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA. Go SpaceX. Godspeed, Bob and Doug.
It's also the first for NASA from U.S. soil in 9 years.
We had to shift from hosting guests in person to doing virtual guest operations.
Cindy Steele is the chief of NASA's Public Engagement Division. She grew up in Detroit and went to Northern Michigan University.
It is pretty exciting. Sometimes you can get lost in the planning of an event.
Her portfolio includes exhibits and artifacts, astronaut appearances, and guest operations. Her team coordinates the logistics of VIPs at the launch site, including a visit by President Trump.
So myself, and again, it takes a village, a team of folks, not only at headquarters, but at Johnson Space Center, and obviously here at Kennedy Space Center, working with the White House and Office of the Vice President and helping facilitate any high-level visits.
The invitation process started more than a year ago. They planned for about 10,000 guests, but because of the coronavirus, that number was closer to 200. And even at launch sites, precautions are in place.
We're all walking around with face masks. There's hand sanitizer everywhere.
It was super cool, for sure.
Anjali Roy Chowdhury moved to Oakland County from India when she was 5. She now lives in San Francisco.
I think one of the reasons I love space is that everyone looks up. And it's kind of a universal experience to share the joy of like watching something go into orbit or something as cool as this. And so it was really nice to be able to watch it with my parents.
Anjali spent a summer as an intern for SpaceX, the private company that helped send the astronauts to the International Space Station. She worked on a valve in the abort system, which allows the astronauts to separate from the rocket within the first 9 minutes of launch and land in the ocean if there's an issue.
Design it, and then you build it, and then you do something called acceptance testing, where you make sure it does what you expect it to. And then there's the last stage, which is qualification testing, which is you make sure it can survive even more than it's supposed to. So you like test it to find its like breaking point.
From valves to VIPs, both Michigan women said it feels like a dream to be part of history, as the last launch from the U.S. was in 2011.
And I remember when I was young watching that launch and like being really excited about space shuttle launches. And so I hope that like with this launch, like other kids will be inspired the way that I was inspired.
For me, when the astronauts landed at Kennedy Space Center and they disembarked from the plane, and I saw them walking up to the mics, and I thought, okay, this is happening.
And if you're curious about COVID testing before the flight, the astronauts were in quarantine.
Naturally part of their preparation, but they were tested in preparation for this. But they were naturally in quarantine for an extended period of time.
In Grand Rapids, Ryan Cummings, Fox 17 News.
So amazing to see all the hard work that goes into that.
So cool.
All right, everyone, stay with us. Fox 17 News at 11 starts right now.